Yeah. Hey yo, man, it's your time. And fuck poverty. Get this money, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy the Judgmental Podcast,
What's up, everybody? This your boy Phil.
and I'm Leroy. So we gonna go to Detroit, Michigan, where mother Sanitra Rayford was shot by a teen in an altercation with another parent. I hate to laugh, but
No, you don't.
no, because no, one of the kids is like seriously injured.
And
So
you still laughing.
no, I'm laughing at her, not laughing at the situation.
Whatever.
So
Laughing is laughing.
here's the report.
But we begin this afternoon with a violent dispute involving two children, two teenagers, and a mother in the city of Detroit. Thank you for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis. A teenager remains in critical condition after being shot in the head Thursday night. A 16-year-old boy is now in police custody, accused of shooting that teenager and a mother who was caught in the chaos. It all started with police getting a call from the 800 block of Delaware near 3rd Avenue. That's in Detroit's News Center area. The mother, who was shot less than 24 hours ago, is now sharing her.
Now you think, okay, she shot and everything like that. She's in her house. She got her hospital gown on, and she already knew the reporters was coming. She couldn't do something with her hair.
Why is she still wearing a hospital gown? Did she just walk in the door?
I have no idea. And she's sitting in the house.
Unsettling story with 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham.
Sanitra Rayford says she's lived in this community since 2017. But after being shot right here last night, just feet from her home, she says she's ready to move.
You're willing to talk to us, obviously. Why is it important for you to speak with us? What message do you have?
Stop the violence.
Oh, sure, girl.
You bought the violence. Come on
You ain't
now. All
lying.
them tattoos on her neck, her face, and her hands. She bought that shit.
Last time they could have talked instead of shooting.
Still bandaged and healing from her gunshot wounds, Sanitra Rayford tells me what led up to an altercation she says was preventable.
Everybody could have just talked instead of them just shooting.
They sure, and that's including you too.
But it happened too fast.
Rayford says a couple of kids picked on her 8-year-old son Thursday evening near her apartment in the 800 block of Delaware. She says a 6-year-old choked her child after being egged on by a teenager.
When he went and got his brother.
Well, here's a question
Hold
for
on,
you.
a 6-year-old?
Okay, well, you're a parent. Okay, is a 6-year-old and her son is 8, right? I think she said her son is
A
8.
6-year-old choked out the 8-year-old.
Okay, now, should a 6-year-old and 8-year-old be outside by themselves without no supervision?
No.
Now, I know back in the day it was different, but now it's totally different now. And I don't think that a 6-year-old and 8-year-old should be outside she should be in a door, looking out the window or something after them kids to see what they up to. They roll down the street and she wouldn't know where they are. I can't really say nothing because, I'm not a parent, but here we go.
My daughter is 6 and she don't go nowhere without supervision.
Okay. I'm like, look, if I can't look outside at the window or look at the door on you, then it don't look like it's a backyard.
The
It's an
window is too
apartment.
far. Somebody need to be out there with eyes on.
Okay, well then if I can't be out there looking at you, then you just can't go outside.
Exactly.
He came out with his sledgehammer and started swinging at everybody.
Rayford's
Let me go
Delaware-
back.
Hold on. Is this the 8-year-old with the sledgehammer now?
No, I had went back because we were stopping and starting. So she gonna start talking about the story here.
She says a 6-year-old choked her child after being egged on by a teenager.
When he went and got his brother, he came out with his sledgehammer and started swinging at everybody.
Rayford says she then went to talk to the 6-year-old's mother.
She came with a whole bunch of people. Me and her was talking for a minute.
They weren't talking.
After we got done talking, I got my CPL, so I had my gun in my pocket. One guy had his arm and his coat because he had a gun in there. So the boy next to me grabbed my gun out because he seen it with a gun, and they started shooting, and that's when I started getting hit trying to run.
Now, when you were shot,
When I was shot, I was crawling because I hit the ground. I was crawling, and then I ended up right here at the end, and old lady came, put me in a car, and took me to the hospital.
at that moment, what's going through your mind? You're shot, you're on the ground.
What's going in my mind is you should be in jail.
That's why she started off with, "I got my license." What that got to do with anything?
Right. Well,
It
how
sounds
did
like you brought your gun to the damn OK Corral. Somebody got the drop on you.
okay, and her story was, because we all know it didn't go that way. And her story was, she had her gun, right? She didn't pull it out. The kid next to her reached in her bag and grabbed her gun. Well,
That
how
sounds
did this?
ridiculous.
Okay, well, how would this kid know she would have a gun?
It sounds like I said. It sounds ridiculous. She's lying.
I thought I was about to die.
Detroit police say one of the teens at the altercation was shot in the head and is in very critical condition. Does this change your outlook on living over here?
Yeah, I want to move. I don't want to come outside.
Yeah, you're the one bringing the violence in the neighborhood. What the hell?
Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
She was down for the bullshit. That's why she came out there with her gun.
Yep.
Somebody just got the drop on her quicker. That's all it was.
Yep. Yeah. And we was just sitting there talking, y'all just having a peaceful conversation, then some kind of way of some gunplay coming out. I don't believe that for a second. Not for somebody with tattoo on her face and on her neck. She down for the shits. Her face wasn't bad though, by the way, I must say.
Nobody asked you.
I had to bring it out there. All right, so we go to Atlanta, Georgia. Emory Hospital allegedly loses part of Fernando Cluster's skull during a surgery and charged him $19,000 for a new one.
God damn.
Here's the report. Oh, by the way, these are like kind of like old stories, like stuff in the summer and all that stuff. But since we do the Eagles stuff, so we haven't really been doing any reports.
An Atlanta couple is now suing Emory Healthcare, accusing doctors of losing a piece of a man's skull in between surgeries.
This all started back in 2022. These are photos of Fernando Cluster in his hospital bed following surgery to treat an intracerebral hemorrhage. Now, it's when Fernando and his wife claimed the hospital lost part of his skull and then charged them more than $19,000 to artificially recreate it.
11 Alive's Angelina Salcido is following this story for us tonight. She joins us live now from Emory Healthcare in Midtown. So, Angelina, the couple's lawyers telling you Fernando's skull was not the only body part misplaced?
Shit.
Well, Joe, and you hear that, and it's even hard to fathom that
Emory Hospital better settle this lawsuit because he in for a windfall. Yep.
Except like this would happen.
That's going to be Emory's Fernando's hospital once he get done with them.
The lawyer says that a note in her client's medical file let them know that he was not alone. Now, this all started back in September of 2022 when Fernando Cluster fainted and was left with a very serious brain bleed. A few weeks later, he would be ready to go into surgery, but doctors would tell him that that piece of skull that they removed so his brain could heal was gone.
They're scared. They're terrified.
Fear it could happen again. Attorney Chloe Dallaire representing Fernando Cluster and his wife trying to get the truth.
They got various contradictory messages about why surgery was postponed.
Got a nice white woman lawyer. That's good because, they ain't playing. Your ass is in trouble. They ain't got one of them slickster brothers over there. They got them a nice little middle-aged white woman lawyer. That's
hey,
good.
Look, you could have got any lawyer. The bottom line is he's missing half his fucking skull. And they're charging them for it.
That's true, but their ass is on fire now because she's coming for blood.
And ultimately, Emory told them that they had lost and misplaced a part of his skull.
This note in his medical file shows doctors couldn't find a bone flap with Cluster's identification, and several others were incomplete or missing patient identification.
It's mind-blowing, literally.
Cluster would get a 3D synthetic flap implanted weeks later.
But that wouldn't be the last time that this couple found themselves at Emory Healthcare trying to fix Mr. Cluster's skull, and they would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And she shouldn't have wore this blouse either because that blouses don't fit her body.
So let's walk through it. In November of 2022, that first visit, they would spend at least $40,000, only to find themselves back at the hospital December of 2023 because of an infection and need to remove that flap. There, they'd spend more than $110,500. March of 2024, they would come back to get a brand new flap put in for $77,700.
Where's he getting all this money from? They didn't pay all that money.
Insurance.
Yeah.
This couple would spend at least $228,200.
Due to
they're making it seem like they didn't spend that money.
negligence, something that was entirely preventable. He has to live.
And here's the thing about this report. Why do they have that thing going off in this report to do the whole thing? Do you hear it?
Yeah. For the dramatic effects.
Right.
Of his life in fear of getting an infection in his brain and in his skull.
Now, Mr. Cluster is currently doing okay. We are looking forward to talking to him next week. I am told that that should be an interesting conversation, that they're excited to give their viewpoint as well. We did reach out to Emory Healthcare. They told us that they are committed to giving some compassionate health care to their patients, but they are not commenting on pending litigation. We're live tonight in Midtown. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
An incredible and frustrating.
Also, the thing was, okay, they told the clusters that they lost his skull, Fernando's skull, but they wanted to give him another skull, another human skull. Like, look, we can't find yours, but take this one. And they had turned it down. So that's why he got the plastic flap, inside. And everyone knows that when it comes to having those foreign objects in your body like that, things can get infected.
Yeah, sometimes your body just don't take to it.
Right, because you know how people get like knee replacement, and then they get the knee replacement, and then like they cool for a couple of months, and all of a sudden that thing get all swollen and big and stuff, and they got to go back to the hospital again. It's the same shit here.
Yeah, your body like, hold the fuck up. This ain't my part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck out.
Right. Right. They're like, look, we don't have your skull, but you can get my man's other skull over here. And they had turned that down, which I don't blame them.
Yeah, I'd have done the same thing.
Right. And they got the plastic one instead. But yeah, they better settle this as soon as possible.
That's crazy.
So we going to Hialeah, Florida, where mother Tessie Mills was arrested on child abuse and child neglect charges after pushing her 1-year-old daughter out of her car after the kid spilled shampoo. Here's the report.
We begin with a follow-up on a story we first brought to you last week after witnesses say they saw a woman throw her 1-year-old child out of a moving car. Today, that mother appeared before a judge.
We're also learning what police say happened in the car before the young girl was picked up by a Good Samaritan. NBC 6's Lena Salzbank has the new details from court.
And then goes over there and snatch the kid?
Yes, the Good Samaritan there picked the kid up. Looked like the kid was like unconscious.
Probably.
And she stopped. Now keep in mind, she's still rolling or whatever. She stopped. Well, they'll explain it.
Breaking the more details we learn about this.
Some stuff I don't watch and some stuff I did. This is an older one, so I looked at this one before, so I know the story.
Case, that woman was arrested on Friday in Miramar and then extradited back here to Miami-Dade. She faces charges of child abuse and child neglect. Tessie Chelsea Mills stood before a judge Wednesday just 5 days after law enforcement issued a be on the lookout for the 29-year-old and her 1-year-old child.
Charge you with 2 counts of.
And there's our girl.
One count
Judge
of child
Glazer.
abuse, no great bodily harm, and 1 count of child neglect.
The Florida Missing Child Alert
and they'll
was
give it
issued
right back
after
to
witnesses say they saw Mills toss a 1-year-old out of a moving car on Northwest 37th Avenue and Northwest 54th Street in Hialeah last Thursday.
Child had gravel on her face and I think blood on her head.
According to the arrest warrant, a witness who was in the passenger seat at the time of the incident told detectives this all happened after the baby spilled shampoo in the back seat of the car.
So she pushed the victim out of the car because she spilled shampoo in the car, and that's after hitting her.
The report says when the baby cried, Mills got angry, opened the door, and pushed her out.
Was this somebody that was with her that's just telling?
No.
Because it sounded like she was with her, and that's how she know all the details. How she know all the details? And she said she was sitting in the passenger seat, so I was confused. Is she just sitting in another car, or was she with her? It sounded like she was with her.
They kind of get into that, your question here.
Oh my God! As witnesses rushed to help the child, moments later, 2 cars pulled up and surveillance video shows Mills returning to the scene, violently taking the child back from the woman who was trying to help.
Well, this man right here is like a DoorDash dude. Looked like he got some pizza or something, and they just like kind of just like showed up at the same time. They don't have anything to do with it. And somebody was driving that car, like you were saying, but the way she got out on the passenger side.
Help.
Oh my God! I need you guys to call
Detectives say they tried to get Mills to return to the scene and get the child medical attention, but she failed to do so. The judge did give Mills bond, and she will be allowed to get out of jail. However, she is ordered to stay away from her child. For now, reporting in Miami-Dade, Lena Salzbank, NBC 6 News.
So she throws a 1-year-old out the car, and she's going to get bail for that. And I believe what you said, that that the driver or something, whoever the driver was, told what happened. Like, they looked, I ain't getting involved in that. That girl spilled shampoo, and that girl threw her out the window, and I came back, and she had went and got the kid. That's what happened. I didn't want to say it. I just wanted to hear the whole story.
Yeah, because they worded it a little bit wrong, so it can kind of confuse people.
Yeah, I believe that driver had told, like, look, you ain't getting me in trouble for this shit. All right, we staying in Florida. We going to Tampa, Florida. A date night at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino turned a Riverview couple into targets for violent robbers. Here's the report.
Across Florida, 2 men are behind bars after Hillsborough County deputies say they followed a couple home from a casino, shot them, and robbed them. And the horrific ordeal was captured on Ring doorbell video.
Damn.
Now, I didn't see this report, but I seen the home video on World Star, so I already know this part happening. I think this is funny, but it's funny but not funny. But now watch her.
That's the home of Val Dela Cruz and Kim Chambliss. They won $3,000.
Now they're saying that this is their house, right? Okay.
At the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa.
Watch when they show
Investigators say 2 men watched the couple, then followed them to their home in Riverview before attacking them.
Why she ain't been at
It's like the person that's holding the door don't want to let them in. They
gonna leave him out there and shit. He must gonna live there.
The person that's holding the door, it's almost like he didn't want her to come inside. But they say that was her house. So I was thinking, like, is that really their house, or that's like a neighbor's house or something?
It's probably the neighbor's house, because she was fumbling around, and then, like, why she didn't just get in the house from the door, and then why would they leave my man out there on the curb?
Yep, her husband. That's women. Women that say themselves first before anything. So he all laying on the ground, all shot up.
That's self-preservation, boy. That's what they about.
In Dela Cruz's watch and jewelry in Chambliss's purse. Dela Cruz was shot 3 times in his legs. Chambliss was shot once in her calf. Chambliss says the incident now has her afraid just to be in her own home.
We've always felt safe in our home, safe in the neighborhood.
Well, what the neighborhood got to do with anything? The people followed you. They not from the neighborhood.
Right.
To have that taken away, to have...
And they were shooting. She never went in the house, but then she went right back over there to make sure they still shooting.
Right.
Almost like it's a damn setup.
Just such an insecure feeling.
Hillsborough County investigators are still working to identify a third suspect they say was also part of this attack. So we want to bring in our News4Jax crime and safety analyst, Tom Hackney, to talk about this. Tom, thanks for being here. First of all, that video, it's just terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a large sum of money, either from a casino or after making a cash withdrawal from a bank, what's your best advice for folks?
Yeah, these poor people feel like they want it big until this happened, obviously. And then, so when you have something like that, a larger sum of money, it's just cautious.
Don't cash out on a weekday. Cash out on a weekday at like 10, 11 o'clock. I'm talking about 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, not in the at nighttime. So that way ain't too many people in there. Everybody in there, if you out late at night like that on the weekend, and they looking like, oh, you see how much money that she done got? And she put it right in their purse.
Being aware of your
well, what they need to do is they need for you to be able to, like, get a card. Either we give you a card with the money on it, or you give us a card and we load it up on your bank card.
True.
That way ain't nobody running around with all this cash and shit getting robbed.
Right.
In that case, we have Best Bets around here in Jacksonville, some other things. If there's a way that you can avoid taking cash home, where you could be seen with a large sum of cash leaving that establishment, it's probably the best bet, literally. So, if you can avoid that. But, we have a lot of people who do deposits for work, who leave.
You didn't see the report. This was like this week about the guy. He had won a settlement or something. Settlement or got an inheritance, one or the other. And he got $50,000 out for the bank. Now it was $50,000 in cash, but they was going to go buy a truck. So they, they had to have the cash, for the truck or whatever. Somebody seen it and robbed them, and the money was everywhere. So the guy put the money in the car, but he didn't lock the door. So the people had walked over, opened the door, and grabbed the money, and had ran with the money. They get in a high speed chase because the guys was following them, and they had gotten a car accident, and they like running down the street or whatever. They got caught, and my man got his money back. But like, look, you don't walk around with no damn $50,000 like that.
So look, I went to the bank. First, I called the bank. I said, I got a check. I want to cash it at $17,000. Would y'all be able to do it? And I called a couple places. Wells Fargo was a pain in the ass, but since I was downtown and I was going to be at work, the dude was like, yeah, we can't cash that. You know what I mean? But you can deposit it. And then I was like, well, how much can I get out of it? You know what I mean? So then he was like, hold on a second. I guess he had to talk to the manager. Then he was like, yeah, the manager said, just bring it down and we'll cash it. So I was like, all right, bet. So I figured I'd leave work, lunch break, half an hour, whatever, run to the right before lunch break, actually, low in and out type of deal. Man, I was in that bank for over an hour. And as soon as I walked up to the lady, you know how you go to the sit down part, not at the desk.
Yes.
I went over there and I was like, she was like, can I help you? I was like, yeah. And then I went over to her desk and I was like, yeah, I called yesterday about cashing a check and someone here said they could do it. And she was like, oh, how much is it? So I was like, 17,000. And then as soon as I said it, I'm like looking around and shit, and there's like a black hood looking security guard. So he looked up at me. So I was like, 17,000. She's like, okay, do you have it? Then I would show it to her. She's like, who'd you speak to? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, it was a young guy. He told me he couldn't do it. Then he said, speak to the manager. Then he said, bring it down. She's like, all right, let me find out who you talk to. And then every time I look up, the security boy looking at me, I'm thinking in my head, oh shit. I hope he ain't calling his homeboys like, yo, we about to get somebody over here that's withdrawing 17 in cash. So anyway, I was there for a whole time. They had to call all these different places, the back office, this manager, do all this, get this code. As soon as I got that shit, I was like, all right, bet. And the whole time, because they're like, well, how you want it? You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, you all loud and shit, and in the business, people in line and stuff. I ain't trying to. This supposed to be real discreet. Y'all could have kept me on the backside. You know what I mean? Brought it to me over there at the private desk or something.
I thought for a large amount like that, I thought they would. I
That's
wouldn't
what
think
I
that
thought
you was
too. She took me right back up to the counter. So I'm at the counter talking to them. Well, how would you want it? I said, large is good. You know what I mean? And then they put it in the machine, counting all this cash. Then he counting it out, and then they put it in the machine again to recount. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be in trouble. I'm looking around, people looking at me and shit. I put it in my book bag, and then I put my book bag underneath my coat because I had like a hoodie on. So I had like my hoodie, the book bag, and then my coat like that. And then I'm holding the strap tight in case anybody get any ideas like running past. And then, boy, I speed walk like a motherfucker to the job just to make sure nobody ain't hanging around and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was the check from all this insurance claim and all this shit. The guys that's doing the work, they pretty much give us a discount if we give them in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we roll like that. And then once I was at work, I was cool because I just locked it. I drawers and shit. I could just lock it. I just threw my whole book bag in there and locked it.
Right.
Leave a business and go home with a lot of cash, or leave a bank and then take that out. And historically in Jacksonville, we've had cases before where that has happened. They've gotten followed home and robbed there. So if you can avoid the same behavior, the same pattern when you do this, when you make a deposit or you leave a bank, just be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes these are inside jobs from banks and other places where somebody says, hey, this person has that. And
what you just said.
Motherfucking inside job calling their homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could have been somebody in line. Oh shit, texting their homeboy. It's a dude right here. You know what I mean? With a black coat on, he gonna get 17 grand. We can get this bull.
Mistaken identity. So varying your times, varying your locations, and just trying to be aware of your surroundings. If you feel like you're being followed, don't go home. Get on the phone with police. Try to avoid going to the house. Head towards a police station, a substation, some well-lit area. On the phone with 911. Maybe it's nothing, but trust your gut.
Yeah.
Tom, I was holding my book bag, walking fast to the job, and the whole time I kept turning around, seeing if there's any shady characters like behind me and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing when I got out of work, I'm walking fast trying to catch the train, and I'm still doing the same thing, making sure ain't nobody look like they've been walking behind me too long.
Mm-hmm.
But what role in technology and surveillance play in enhancing safety, at venues, for instance, like casinos and like banks? What role do they play?
So, as we move through technology and they're able to identify, it helps law enforcement, obviously, to maybe identify the suspects. The problem is when something like we saw in that Ring doorbell happens, it's too late. The cat's out of the bag with that. Law enforcement can be helped with that. Technology, we talked about deposits and those things. AirTags, people can use AirTags if they have a bank bag or some money that they're moving with. But, traveling with cash there's an inherent risk that's involved with it.
Yeah, I really got two questions in one. First of all, how much money is too much money to be walking around with? And two, it's almost like when you're in the casino and you're winning, you kind of got to keep a low profile, right? I mean, if you're celebrating, you're really causing attention to yourself at that point.
Well, yeah, it's,
Well, it ain't just that. It's just that thing. Well, it depends if they play slot machines or not.
Right.
They go,
Make all that goddamn noise, then everybody come around and shit.
Right. Everybody gonna turn around and look and see what you and all that stuff, and then it will like flash on a display.
Make all this noise, flashing, all this attention. Then there's fucking stragglers and brookies that's coming around trying to see how much you won. That's how it was when I was at the casino. I mean, I didn't win nothing big, but every time I did win something small, it was always somebody hanging around trying to see what I won. Oh, you hit over there? What you get? Motherfucker, get back to you because you're fucking there and leave me alone.
It goes against the norm or what you would typically think. You're going to be happy. Hey, I'm winning money. The lights are flashing. Bells are dinging, and I've got cash. I've got chips. It's obvious when that happens, and people are watching, and people maybe with some sinister intentions are the ones who are paying attention to that. And how much is too much cash? Gosh, you would think that's $3,000. That's a lot of money to be there. But I mean, these poor folks were shot and potentially killed. They luckily weren't killed, but could have easily been killed over a few $1,000s. And I can tell you, over 30 years of working homicides and being around them, I've seen homicides for a whole lot less money than that. So it's just, you have to be careful with any amount that you're carrying, and especially when it's been obvious in some way or shape or form, the bank or the deposit or the winnings at the casino. Just be careful.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, thank you so much for your insight.
Yeah. All right, we can talk a little wrap up on the Eagles and Commanders game. The Eagles won 26-16. Some quick stats. On the Commanders side, we have Jaden Daniels, 22 for 32, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rushing, we have Brian Robertson, 16 carries, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. On receiving, we have Austin Eckler, 8 receptions, 89 yards. Zach Ertz, 6 receptions, 47 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the Eagles side, we have Jalen Hurts, 18 for 28, 221 yards. On rushing side, we have Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 10 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Receiving, we have A.J. Brown, 5 receptions, 65 yards. Dallas Goedert, 5 receptions, 61 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 receptions with 21 yards. We never talk about our young Eagles secondary. Reed and Quentin Mitchell should be Pro Bowlers. I don't know how that's going to work, but they should be up there. But our secondary is playing really good. So what was your thoughts on this game?
I thought the offense still started off flat. We scored early, but we was pretty much flat in the first half. Like, we wasn't getting nothing going. It still looked like the coach is trying to get big chunks and big plays instead of just moving down the field. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The defense right now is our fucking our bread and butter. Because like you said, the secondary is playing real good. The linebackers are playing good. The front line is crashing the line, making these quarterbacks hurry. So the defense has been pretty good. The only thing I would hate to see, normally when you have 2 cornerbacks doing real good and you have a veteran that's a Pro Bowler making a lot of money, to get rid of the veteran. So they'll probably get rid of Slay and then let the 2 rookies start next year or some shit like that. And I don't like that, because if you got something that's great and that's working, don't ruin it. If he's under contract, let him run us contract. You know what I mean?
Right. Hold on. I'm going to bring up this stat. I'm going to try to find us. All right, here we go. They were Darrelle Revis was notable because he held wide receivers. In 2009, he held wide receivers under 35 yards. He held Andre Johnson, Randy Moss twice, Marcus Colson, Terrell Owens twice, Torrey Holt, Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne, and Chad Ochocinco. Now, Quentin Mitchell, now, Drake London had 1 catch for 5 yards. Chris Olave had 2 catches for 23 yards. Mike Evans had 2 catches for 19 yards. Amari Cooper had 1 catch for 10 yards. Malik Neighbors had 1 catch for 9 yards. Jamar Chase had 2 catches and 19 yards, which is notable because a couple of games after that, he had 200 yards receiving. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch for 5 yards. And the last game, Terry McLaughlin had 0 catches. Like I say, he should be a Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, he should be. And some of those stats are screwed because they're making it seem like every big name receiver we play, he's covering. When you know Slay is our top corner, so I'm pretty sure Slay is covering some of those guys too.
Right.
But he is doing a real good job. I'll give him that.
Right. So anything else you want to say about the game?
No, I mean, our coach fucking got out of his head and started playing fundamental football. We get a field goal range, take the field goal. You know what I mean? Stop with all this 2-point shit. You use the 2-point when it's necessary. You don't use it as a fucking go-to option.
Right. So the next game, the Eagles played the LA Rams. I think this is in LA. It's a Sunday night game. So what is your thoughts on that?
It's probably going to be a close game, but I think we still should be able to beat them because they ain't that good, but they do got good players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a away game for the Eagles. They're going to LA. So there, this Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. There, did you watch it?
Yes.
What was your thoughts?
It was a shit show, and Tyson got paid off to not fuck him up. Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking at the first 2 rounds. Tyson was going after his head. He was moving. He was going after him, and Paul was running. Paul couldn't fucking do shit. He was just haul ass in the whole 2 rounds. Then after that, it's like somebody said something to Tyson, like, "Hey, if you still won't get paid, you better stop." And then after that, Tyson stopped throwing punches. I think from like round 3, or was it round 6? One of those rounds, it was only like 4 total punches landed. So now we just watching 2 guys standing around. Ain't nobody throwing punches. Right. And then after the second round, when Tyson was aggressive, then he stopped being aggressive, and Jake Paul was the one aggressive, throwing punches, but he still never put his guard up. You can't tell me you can get in the ring with Tyson and not put your guard up. And then all this Tyson biting his fucking glove, goofy shit like that. And then he said, "Well, I always do that in all my fights." Man, bullshit. We seen your fights. You bit Holyfield ear. If you was biting the glove, then you wouldn't have bit the ear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you fight, you throw combinations, you dip in. They talking about he was winded. I think he was acting like he was so tired. He wasn't doing nothing to get tired like that. And then when you watch like the training and all them little show they had before that, and all the speed shit he was doing and the leg movements, and he did none of that in the ring. Right. So that's how I know he was paid off and shit.
Well, they talked about he had a knee injury and how he came to the ring with a brace on his knee. He had that brace when he was doing practicing.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
And he was still moving,
exactly.
Moving right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't know he had his son. His son did Amir. What's his name? Amir
yes.
Tyson that was interviewing him. And then they're gonna show his ass on the camera. Like, what is this shit show?
Yeah.
It was a fucking joke. And everybody spent all their money. And then, like you said, Netflix crashed on a lot of people.
Yeah. Some people, it crashed. And some people said it worked fine with them. They ain't have no problems. I said, well, I can tell mine was crashing.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was on my end. But when I was turning the other shit, everything else was smooth. But then they had that Netflix loading circle. So that's how I knew it was Netflix. It wasn't us.
Yep. And then the person kept backing out and trying to restart it, and the same shit was happening. So yeah, it crashed over here, but other people said it was fine. They ain't had no problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the Amanda Striano and Katie Holmes, Katie Smith is her name.
Smith.
Okay, I thought that Serrano won that fight.
That was highway robbery.
Yeah.
This girl killed her on percentages landed, thrown punches because she was the aggressor. And punches landed. She beat her on every aspect, and then the girl lost a point for headbutt or holding or whatever. So you lose all that, and you still want to fight? Oh, that was some bullshit.
Yep. I think that a lot of people said this was like some WWE stuff, But I'm thinking it was WWE stuff for the co-main event and the main event, so they can get the third match going with the ladies, and they're going to use Mike Tyson for somebody else. I don't know. It may not be Jake Paul. It may not be his brother, but it's definitely going to be somebody else that they're going to use him for, because a lot of people was interested in it, as we see. So hey, you never know. And I could tell it was definitely some funny business going by the way Tyson was moving.
He wasn't moving at all, and he wasn't even throwing punches. It was at least like 2 rounds where Tyson didn't even throw a punch.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here? He dipped Paul's shot where Paul's face was wide open. I just knew Tyson would have fucking rocked him, and Tyson didn't even throw the punch.
Now, okay, let's just say it wasn't no WWE stuff, and let's just say something was wrong with his knee, and he couldn't really move like how he wanted to. Like you were saying, it's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson know he got that one hit a quarter punch. Now you know he was going to try to swing for the fences. Like you said, if he was wide open like that, now he might not have the movement no more, but that power ain't gonna go away out his hand. And he can't say he was tired because the rounds was 2 minutes and he wasn't moving.
Right. It was bullshit. It was a bullshit fight. And it was, like I said, it was a fucking shit show that was fucking paid for by Paul. Just like all these other guys that Paul fought, where they didn't, you just saw, oh shit, they're gonna give him a fight, and then they don't even put up a fight.
Yep.
It's like, damn, is there something in the contract saying you can't hurt me because you're about to get this big payday?
Yep. Other than Tyson Fury, that's his cousin or his brother? The one that Jake Paul lost to. His last name is Fury. I don't remember his first name. That was like the only real fight I seen. Because when I was looking at him fighting Anderson Silva, I'm like, damn, I'm saying to myself, Anderson Silva is winning this fight. And then Jake Paul, I had that late knockdown or whatever. I'm like, oh shit. And the commentators saying how he was beating him bad. I'm like, I don't see it. I think Anderson Silva is winning this fight.
What's the dude that he fought that he knocked out? And I swear that guy was gonna beat Jake Paul up too.
Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, Tyron Woodley. I thought he was gonna beat him up. And then Woodley was saying, like, yeah, you know what I mean? I was holding back punches, but I want to rematch this. And they're like, you full of shit, dude. You had your opportunity to fight him, and you look like a fool. And I'm watching, and it was the same shit. I'm watching him hold back punches, not throwing punches when he had opportunities to throw punches. It only takes 1 or 2 rounds to see the fixes in. If you're a boxing fan, you know how people fight. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, did you watch UFC last night?
Yes. That's why I got up late today watching all it. Usually main events be like fucking maybe at midnight start. This thing was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh my goodness.
So what you think about John Jones beating Stipe Miocic?
Well, I thought John Bones was going to win anyway because he is like the fucking toughest man on the planet. But he like you said, he got a lot of tools in his tool bag. He like got so many different ways he can beat you.
Yes.
That fucking spin kick to the fucking rib. Oh my god, I felt that with the bull. Before that, his fucking face was mushing me from the fucking elbow smashes, and then he couldn't stand on his legs because his legs got chopped down. He just was beat up so many different ways.
Right. I tell you, he's very underrated on what the press or the media or whatever. John Jones,
they don't want to give him his props. That's just the bottom line. Maybe because he's a black dude and UFC wasn't really supposed to be our sport.
Right.
But they don't want to give him his props. Nobody, when they talk about the greatest fighters, it should be no question his name comes the first one roll off your tongue.
Exactly. What was his win-loss record? Is he I don't know, on the internet they said that they changed the rule. I know they changed the rule with the elbow, but did they change his loss?
He got 1. They got him
okay.
I think 28-1-1.
Okay, so they didn't change it. They didn't, because they was saying that they was going to try to take that loss away because they changed the rule. They changed the rule on the elbow. The Dusty Rhodes elbow 12-6 is allowed now. That's how he got disqualified before.
But most people that have been watching him fight, they don't even count that as a loss, even though it's on his record.
Right.
You know
right.
What I mean?
Like I say about John, like I say, UFC, that's where, if we talk about in terms of martial arts, that's where the top of the line guys are at. And if you look at the UFC champions, there not too many champions that's 25, 26 and years old or whatever. John Jones did that at a young age, and he never lost a fight. He never lost a fight, and
And see,
went
and
up
I
to
think,
heavyweight. Go ahead.
and that's why I think they hold it against him. They hold it against him. Some of it is because he's black, and they don't want to just give him his props because he's been running through people, and he got so much different. Your boy Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan always gave him his props as like the best fighter. You know what I mean? But a lot
Yeah.
of, like you said, the media in the sports world, they don't do that.
Yeah. What is it? Because could it be because of him? Because he should be on commercials and all that stuff or whatever. But he get the
Well, I
cocaine
was about to
and
say the coke. Can't leave the coke alone.
right. The getting a fight with the cop car.
But shit, your boy Michael Irvin on TV, and he had his coke shit situations.
So yeah, that was a good show last night. It was pretty much what a three fight show. The undercard I wasn't.
Shay
Go
liked
ahead.
the first fight. I didn't really care for the first fight because they were just beating each other ass, and even one of them had defense. So every punch that both of them threw landed. Both of
Right.
their face was lumped up and bruised up and bleeding. I was like, yeah, people like this fight, but it's not no fight of the year because nobody really throwing combinations, playing defense. They just throwing whatever they want and it's landed.
Right. Right. Anything else sports wise you want to talk about?
Did you see what's going on with Embiid and Shaq?
No. What was Shaq was talking about him on the show? On
Well,
the
Shaq said something about Embiid needs pretty much what I said. He need to get some heart.
right.
But he was talking about the injuries and not playing or whatever. And then Embiid came back and was like, yeah, it's easy to avoid injury. I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's easy to avoid injuries when all you got to do is wait for Kobe or Dwayne Wade to miss a shot and grab the rebound and dunk it
Oh
in.
my goodness.
Yeah, now he on some sucker shit because Shaq was a beast before he got with Kobe.
Yes.
And then when he got with Kobe, Kobe sat the bench the first couple years. He was still a beast. And then so when he was in Orlando, he was beasting. Like Shaq did way more than just wait for somebody to miss to grab the rebounds. He sat in the post, got the ball, bodied you, and dunked on you. That's what he did.
People have illusions of grandeur because, like you said, early Kobe, he barely played.
Mm-hmm.
Early Kobe is like what they trying to do with Bronny James by not making him play and all that shit.
Right.
Is almost kind of like the same way. But and like you were saying, he was a beast before that. Now we know with him and Penny Hardaway, they would have had a dynasty down there.
Yeah.
If Shaq would have stayed, he even said it himself. If Shaq would have stayed in Orlando, he would have got his money anyway. They would have had like 2 or 3 championships. Shaq and Penny.
Well, they had a young squad, and I think that squad did it go to the conference championship or the NBA finals?
Was it the champ? Was it the final? No, it was.
It might have been a conference.
No. You're right. It was the championship against. It wasn't Houston, was it?
I can't remember who it was.
I think they did go to the championship.
But they had a young squad with Nick Anderson. They had Scott Skiles at the point. You know what I mean? Sometimes off the bench, like they had some players. Dennis Scott hitting them threes off the bench? They had players around them.
Yeah, you had Grant. Grant was
Yep.
there, right? Yeah. They could have won championships. So he'd have won his championship regardless. So I don't know. Embiid must have. Well, can you chalk it up because he's young? And don't know.
I said Embiid is. That's why he attacked the reporter. He's in his feelings right now because this year is like the first year where fans is actually turning on Embiid. He's always on social media, and when he posts stuff, people are saying negative comments. When you going to play? Why you ain't playing? Oh, you get hurt like from a feather. Like they're commenting about his injuries and missing games.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's getting all mad. So he's taking that out on other people. Shaq said nothing wrong. If you to question Shaq because Shaq don't got injuries like you got injuries, all of a sudden he ain't do shit. But wait for somebody to miss is bullshit.
Right. Anything else on the sports?
Nothing really. That's it. I mean, the Sixers is horrible, but at least Jared McCain is balling. We found a little young diamond in the rough.
Right. All right, y'all. You can reach the Judgmentals on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube at PNL Judgmentals, Instagram at _Judgmentals, or you can email us at pnljudgmentals@gmail.com. All right, then.
All right. Peace out.
Facebook comments on my photos, that's why I stay on the low. Most of y'all is associates, so I be on my dolo. Hold up, walk that, whoa, hold the phone. You think all I do is rap? I can do it on my own. That's why I produce the track. Don't wonder where my crew is at. They'll be back. Niggas see me walking on the block and look like who